Welcome to part 5 of my building the HMS Victory, the very small version. And I found online I don't know if you'd call it a tutorial, but it's a 3D rendering of the ship itself, not this one, the actual ship. And I think you might find it helpful because it shows a lot of detail on what that ship was, and it may encourage you to do a little extra on this one. This is so small, I don't know that you're going to be able to, but it might be very interesting to watch. So I've put it on the screen now so you can get a feel for the quality of it. And then I will put a link to the actual YouTube video. It'll probably be very worth your while to research the ship. I'm going to do that, and it kind of makes me wish that I had a much larger version, like the 2.5 foot variety. And who knows, maybe I'll do that someday. Without any further ado, let me show you what I accomplished since the last time. You can see I've now sanded it, and pretty smooth, and no real imperfections. I don't have any major dips, so I'm just going to leave it as is. I could stain all this now, but remember I said I'm considering doing copper leaf on the bottom. So I'm going to make a watermark or a water line using this new tool, and that'll give me a straight edge and the proper position, and I'll tape it off with some painter's tape. This is my first time ever attempting to do a watermark or water line, and this ship was too small to set it on the top of the surface, so I put it on this little vise and leveled it using the level. And I'm going to try and make this line all the way around the ship. Oops, and I just moved the ship a little, so it's going to have to make sure that I hold it straight. Obviously, I will have to work around this part. Not sure if I'll be able to see it, but it was my first attempt. Although faint, I can see it. You can see it there. And if I turn this over, you can see they do match. It also matches on the back. And the only reason I did that is I decided I want to copper the bottom, and that'll give me a nice straight line where the copper starts and ends. I put the painter's tape around. I did take an X-Acto knife and tried to make it smooth, different places where it may have not been a straight line. Went up so I won't get any of the adhesive anywhere else on the ship. And what I've been using is this metal leaf adhesive. It's about $8 at Hobby Lobby, and it's permanent. And once you spray it on, you don't really wait any time at all, and you start putting the copper on. So let me show you how I do that. I'm going to go away from here and spray it because I don't want the fumes and the mist all over. So I'll go outside and spray that on. This is the copper metal leaf that I use. Barnabas Black Gold is what it's called, and I've been very happy with it. I'll put a link somewhere below the screen or in the description of the video. You just, where it says more, you click that and it'll open it up. It may show on screen right away. It's not real expensive. You get several sheets. They are very, very thin. You can't do this anywhere where there's wind. But here you can see I've used it before, so I've got some that are, this top one is probably stuck to the paper. But after that, they're individual sheets. They're separated by paper, so it's not normally this messy. Still doing the prep work. So what I'll do a lot of times is I'll take, and because of the size of the ship, I could use full sheets, but I'm going to go cut this in half. Seems like I have less waste if I do it this way. So I'll have all these ready to go, setting off to the right of the screen. And the glove I use, because when I spray this, I don't want to get the adhesive all over my hands. You also don't want to touch the copper too much, or if you do, after it dries, you just need to lightly wipe it off with an alcohol wipe to get the oil from your fingers off of the copper, because if it has any oil on it, the aging process will not work. All right, so let me go get this sprayed and I'll start putting on the copper. I've applied the copper spray and now I'm ready. I'm going to take this glove off because it has some stickiness to it, and that's a disaster. And this doesn't require you to be exact where it goes, because you're going to overlap everything. Tweezers sometimes come in handy. And then once I get to a certain point, I'll start brushing it on some. Now I'll put a glove on. Start looking for any places I miss. Put bits and pieces over any place that didn't get covered. There's a spot right here. In reality, when I age it, these spots, if it doesn't have copper, really will not show. So you'll see in the end result. And I realize this is not the official way to copper a ship, but I'm in for speed and ease. As you know, I'm not a perfectionist. So you can see there's a little crack right there. That'll just add to the look when I finish aging it. So I'm not real concerned with those little spots. And you can always come back and use some of the brushed on, you know, the adhesive you brush on, and you can patch that, but hopefully I can get that to stay. Yeah, pretty much. And this is kind of a somewhat stiff bristled brush. And, you know, if you're doing fine detailed work with copper, you probably wouldn't want anything that is this scratchy. But this is a ship, and I'm going to age the copper, so that part isn't that important. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Then I will come back and I'll do some more brushing, get any additional flakes off that are not glued on. Then we'll probably go ahead and age it, then remove the painter's tape. The copper has dried, and I've sprayed it with a mist of vinegar and then sprinkled salt on it while it was still wet. You can see the little crystals of salt. After I put the salt on, I did mist it again just slightly. Now I'm going to let this sit and dry, and then I'll show you the aging process. To make the aging process work, you need some sort of a chamber. I normally don't do something this large, so my chamber was this glass jar, but it's too small. So I've improvised. I've taped these bamboo strips, and that gives me the height. And I'm going to tape some cellophane or something around here to seal the chamber. Prior to doing that, I'll put a little ammonia in the bottom of this container. Raw ammonia, just household ammonia. The ship will not sit in it. You can't see, but I've got the ship, well, here you can see, it's setting, resting on this little cup. So the liquid ammonia will not touch the ship. I put just a small amount of ammonia in the bottom, maybe 1/8 of an inch, quarter at the most. And I've sealed it. This has got saran wrap, or this Cling Plus. And it doesn't have to be sealed completely tight. A little bit of air getting in is fine, but it does need to be sealed. So we'll see how this idea works. It will take some time. It can vary. Sometimes it seems like it does it in a half hour to an hour, and then sometimes it seems like it takes a few hours. So we'll just keep an eye on it. I don't want to get it too dark. I want it to still show that it's copper. Been about 20 minutes, and you can see the lower part of the ship is pretty dark. I'm going to go ahead and take this off and turn the ship around so that the bow of the ship is similar to the back. It's been a total of about 35 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and remove it from this chamber. You can see that there's a little bit of a bluish aqua tint, especially even here on the tape. You can see where the ammonia, the vinegar, and the salt had a reaction. Still has a little copper tone to it. I'm going to let this dry. That'll bring out the colors. You'll see them better. Then I will rinse off the salt and then do a spray sealer. It's dry now, and you can see the aqua color that it turns. I still have the copper appearance also. Rinse the salt off because you can see there's salt residue. Then I'll have to let it dry again, and then I'll do a clear coating top that protects the surface, and it'll keep that patina. It won't wipe off. Here is my finished product. Still has some copper look to it. You can see the aqua staining that has occurred. Once you do that, if you choose to do it, and it's an art form, sometimes I do better than others, but you need to seal it because you could wipe it off, whereas now it's been sealed. And I use this metal leaf spray sealer, and it says interior or exterior protective varnish. You can see where I made my watermark line and taped over, so I'm going to take the tape off and see what it really looks like. I've got some stain work to do there. I think it'll be fine. This is just barely going to show. You're never going to really see the underside, even though that has some aged look to it. I kind of like it. Okay, well, let me get this stain work done. I'll just do it carefully, and I'll keep moving forward. I hope this was interesting and helpful. If there's anything that I used that you're interested in buying for your own modeling, I'll try and remember to put it in the description. At the lower left-hand corner, you may need to open it. Sometimes it'll show some of the products that are available. This is Boiler Dan 1, and always, thanks for watching.